In the summer of 1995, WaterWorld hit the screens, immersing audiences into a 3-hour-long, water-based Mad Max ripoff, based around a future where the polar ice caps have melted and now the world is covered in water, leaving the remaining humans to live on large water barges and boats. Kevin Costner stars as the Mariner, a mysterious half-fish drifter who with a newfound friend Helen attempt to make it to the mystical dry land, but are harassed and pursued by the ruthless smokers who are basically an evil biker gang on water. They are led by the main antagonist of the film, the Deacon, played by Dennis Hopper, who for sure steals the show, in my opinion.
Nothing like a good smoke if you miss your mom. Never too young to start.
It was incredibly ambitious for Universal as they invested almost $175 million into it, which adjusted for inflation is around $366 million. So to put that into perspective, Avengers Infinity War was $50 million less. Universal was fairly confident WaterWorld was going to be a hit, so they made a ton of merchandise. Shirts, toys, posters, tie-in novels, and one big standout being a water-powered watch, which was pretty ahead of its time. It was a full-on LCD watch that strictly ran on water, but sadly the inventor of this watch was assassinated by the FBI. Also at the same time, similar to the Jurassic Park ride, Universal jumped the gun on developing a WaterWorld themed attraction at their theme parks, sinking $15 million into creating WaterWorld, a live sea war spectacular, a live stunt show featuring live stunts and a heavy dose of pyrotechnics and jet skis. Unfortunately, when the film released, it became one of the biggest box office flops of all time, and then 3 months later, the WaterWorld stunt show would open and become the most critically acclaimed thing associated with the IP. Going on 30 years strong, WaterWorld delivers on recreating the action found within the film, and at least at Hollywood has been a fantastic way for out-of-work actors and stunt actors to pay the bills. Without further ramble, let's discuss the history of WaterWorld, a live sea war spectacular at Universal Studios Hollywood, Japan, Singapore, and Beijing. As I mentioned before, WaterWorld was set up to be Universal's next big hit, and Universal Creative sent out project manager Norm Jha to check out the set and get inspiration to help develop attraction at one of the parks. During this time, Universal Studios Hollywood had a Miami Vice stunt show, which replaced the adventures of Conan, a sword and sorcery spectacular, but Miami Vice was situated on this large lagoon and featured boat and jet ski stunts, as well as pyrotechnics and live actors putting themselves in danger. The show was long overdue for some kind of revamp, and it was in the park for over 8 years, and as cultural interest in Miami Vice was slowing down, it seemed a perfect time to find a replacement. This need to make WaterWorld an attraction and a need to replace Miami Vice was a match made in heaven, and due to the similar water stunt nature of the IP, WaterWorld was a perfect fit. Universal invested $15 million into transforming the criminal world of Miami into the large atoll, a sprawling rusted metal barge that serves as the home of Helen, who is the romantic interest of the movie. Featuring large water cannons, various traps, and tanks holding fuel and other toxic materials, the 40,000 square foot arena houses a 23-foot deep pool, which was widened to better house some of the larger boats featured within the show. The pool also houses a wave machine, which is just a drum that moves up and down in the water, which helps to hide the true depth of the pool. A full audio upgrade was also added with a 50,000 watt sound system hidden behind the set design around the theater. There are 36 pyrotechnic effects that go off each show, which include large explosions, flares, bullet hits, fire, Gatling guns that shoot fire, and of course many others. For the finale of the show, they launch a 2,000-pound seaplane that is launched from a 30-foot hydraulic launcher that flies through a breakaway wall that shoots out fireworks and lands 30 feet away from the audiences. This show is a prime example of what a stunt show can do, and I don't think there's a single one that could rival it. With all of the effects and dangerous stunts in the show, safety is the #1 priority, and the set has many fail-safes and equipment to protect the actors. They have electronic eye sensors that tells the show's computer when the Mariner is at a safe distance to trigger the explosion. There's multiple emergency stop buttons, which are all situated around the arena, and all the live actors have an open line of communication with the control room to ensure that they can alert the operators just in case of an emergency. All the jet ski launches have a countdown launch system, which requires the showrunners to press a button to initiate the launch. The water in the pool was also fairly cold, so all of the performers have to wear wetsuits, and they even have their own private hot tub backstage to warm up before and after the show. The actors work in tandem with the soundstage manager to sync their dialogue and sound effects for the various punches and explosions. This is separate from the recorded soundtrack, which provides most of the sound effects and music of the show, but for things like punches and certain effects, they need to do that live, so that is all timed up perfectly. The show is done over 15 times a day, and everything has to be timed, again, perfectly, making WaterWorld this expensive song and dance of stunt work and explosions. The show has a revolving cast of actors and stunt actors to play the various characters in the show, and like I said earlier, at least at Hollywood, it is a really great way for actors to get some work outside of the film industry. It took Universal 9 months to build the show, and it opened shortly after the flop of the film it was based off of in the fall of 1995. When it opened, WaterWorld was praised for its large scale and intensity. People praised it for being faster and having a little bit more chaos than the Miami Vice stunt show, and people absolutely loved the seaplane stunt, and it very quickly became a must-see aspect of the show. Considering the media was having a field day trashing WaterWorld, it shocked everyone that the stunt show based on it was actually pretty incredible. In 1996, it would win the Theo Award for Outstanding Achievement for a Live Show, and they praised the attraction's seamless integration of stunts and well-crafted story. It very quickly garnered the reputation as one of the best theme park stunt shows of all time and became a must-see attraction at Universal Studios Hollywood. A few years later, Universal was gearing up to open Universal Japan, and with all the hype around Hollywood's version, they decided to open a version of WaterWorld at the park. The big changes between WaterWorld and Japan versus Hollywood is a wider lagoon, which allows for faster jet ski runs and a larger seating area, but otherwise it's pretty similar. It's almost an even bigger hit in Japan though, which inspired Universal to copy and paste this version of the show in Singapore and Beijing. Again, the Japanese version, biggest differences are it's a little bit more streamlined, it's a little bit cleaner, and a little bit easier to reproduce in other places. This was all kind of done on purpose. Back in Hollywood, WaterWorld was going 10 years strong and was in need of major renovations. In the spring of 2006, they closed the attraction for various repairs, including repainting, structural repairs, and maintenance on the set and the effects, and a complete modernized overhaul on the safety systems. A year later, they would do another upgrade on the control systems, which would help with timing on stunt cues and just overall coordination. In 2010, Universal would open another version of WaterWorld in Singapore, which is just a direct copy and paste from Japan. If this proved anything though, it was that WaterWorld was now seen as Universal's go-to stunt show to throw in whatever theme parks they opened. The show outperformed and outlived the IP it was based on, and now became an iconic part of Universal's theme park lineup. Then in 2014, a big shift happened when Action Horizons, a stunt production company, took over daily operations of the show. They would also change the show's choreography to match Japan and Singapore's, and even tighten the overall pacing to make it make more sense. Action Horizons' takeover helped refresh the show and keep it up to date with modern times. 7 years later, Universal would build the biggest, most elaborate version of WaterWorld yet in Beijing. This time, Universal dedicated a whole small themed area of the park to WaterWorld, and this very small land is themed head to toe and is incredibly detailed. There's a Deacon popcorn stand, a Toller's Snacks, which has a freaky little ice cream sandwich guy, and the main highlight is the Drifter's Cantina, which seems to be themed around the Mariner, as if he's out there dishing hamburgers to the people of the atoll. There's also live entertainers dressed as residents of the atoll, and they sing and play drums around the little land. The main show is very similar to Japan and Singapore, but having this extra little land area to hype up the show makes it that much more cool. Before we break it all down though, let's quickly discuss what guests experienced during WaterWorld, a live SeaWorld spectacular. The show begins way before the actual show, as audience members take their seats, and to warm them up, various residents of the atoll start cracking jokes and doing crowd call and response bits to the audience. The score from the film is played to help establish the setting, and they go around doing kinda slapsticky bits and splashing all the people that are sitting in the soak zone. Near the end, they deliver the safety spiel for WaterWorld, and all of this could change depending on who you have working at your show at the time. So this is always kind of a fun thing that can change up depending on who's playing each one of these characters. After a couple minutes of waiting, the show begins with a narrator explaining what's going on in WaterWorld, giving us a breakdown on the story to get the audience up to speed. The atollers signal the gates for Helen's return, and she brings news of dry land, something that is unheard of in WaterWorld. The celebration is cut short when the smokers attack, and two break in using a jet ski, with one actor riding behind them on a water ski. And the atollers attempt to fight back with water cannons, but sadly many are killed in the process. Helen tries to fight back, but the smokers blow up the tower she's in, and she barely escapes as it collapses. This is when the Deacon arrives on his warship that features a large fire-shooting Gatling gun mounted on the front, and the Deacon arrives and is brandishing this golf club, which he uses to do many little bits that, again, will change depending on which Deacon you have. The Deacon is a character that it seems like they just give him a lot of creative control, and usually because he is the actor that talks the most during the show, it kind of makes sense that they allow him to kind of go off into his own little tangents and his own little jokes. So every time you see someone playing the Deacon, they could be doing some kind of bit. Sometimes it's topical, sometimes it's their own little thing that they devised. So it makes it really cool, and a lot of these are like actual actors that have been in TV and movies and stuff. During this chaos, the smokers gain control of the atoll, and they kidnap some guy and hang him above one of the toxic waste tanks that they got laying around. Deacon holds Helen hostage and demands that she tells him the location of dry land, threatening to drop Helen's friend into the vat of acid. Of course she says no, and they drop him, and it's a cool little stunt where an actor is dropped upside down into a pit. All seems lost until one of the smokers spots the Mariner riding in on his jet ski toward the atoll. The Deacon orders him to close the gates, but the Mariner goes underwater, being the fishman he is, and resurfaces from the other side of the wall. The Mariner is a badass. He starts a full-on jet ski assault on the smokers, knocking one of them out by hitting a sick jump. Chaos unfolds as an all-out brawl ensues, and members of the atoll and smokers are taking blows left and right, falling off the railing and dying in fairly violent ways for a theme park stunt show. During this, the giant fuel tank gets shot and begins to leak fuel all around the atoll. Mariner is high up on these rafters fighting a smoker when the Deacon shoots him with a rocket, causing him and the Mariner to fall off the railing. The Deacon climbs the tower after Helen after she knocks out another smoker, causing him to fall over the railing again, and before the Deacon can get to her, the Mariner rides a rope back up to the top of the tower to start the final 1v1 of the show. During this brawl, the Deacon knocks down the Mariner and punches Helen into a basket of a zip line that pulls her away from the fight. The Deacon attempts to signal for his plane, and during this, the Mariner gets back up to fight, and during the brawl, the Deacon misfires his gun twice, hitting the seaplane, causing it to crash through the breakaway walls with a large explosion, making a large splash, crashing directly in front of the audience. The plane works as a great distraction to switch out the main Deacon actor with another stunt actor who's wearing a fireproof suit. The Deacon has the Mariner on the ground and is about to kill him, stabbing him in the leg with a spear, and he pushes the Mariner near the edge of the catwalk where he's now dangling for his life. This is when Helen distracts the Deacon and fires a flare gun at him, causing him to be lit on fire, and the Deacon flails around a bit and goes full drama before he falls off the catwalk into the waters below. It's not over yet, as the leaking fuel from earlier was caught ablaze by the charred Deacon, and now the entire atoll is about to explode. The Mariner slides down a pole and Helen drives the boat to pick him up. They quickly open the gates and Mariner runs through multiple explosions, diving into the water, being picked up by Helen. They make their escape just in time as many large explosions erupt around the atoll, and the narrator from earlier comes back talking about now civilization has a chance to start anew on dry land. And that's pretty much it, and the show ends. The show is incredible, and it hasn't really had any narrative beat changes from when it opened, and it's still so impressive from the stunt work to the many explosions. It's just not hard to have a fun time at WaterWorld. Especially in the heat of the summer, WaterWorld can be a really nice way to cool off, and sometimes I think the heat really just kind of adds to the atmosphere of the show and really gives it that Mad Max quality. When I was a kid, this is what got me to watch the movie, which bored the hell out of me. I've yet to revisit the film, but the stunt show is kind of all you need. It's quick and to the point and uses pretty much all of the strengths that come with the concept, and it does all that in under 20 minutes. I can't see Universal replacing it anytime soon, and with them building that land in Beijing, I feel like that's Universal's way of saying that WaterWorld would be a part of the parks for the near future. But if they were to replace WaterWorld at Hollywood, what would you like to see them do? Would you like to see them make another stunt show, or would you like to see them scrap it for something else? If there was another stunt show, what should it be themed around? Comment below and let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is me rambling about WaterWorld. I hope you enjoyed it. If you love WaterWorld, if you have some personal stories, or if you worked on WaterWorld especially, please also comment below. I would love to know what's going on. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I see that a lot of the people that watch these videos aren't subscribed, so please hit that bell so that when I do post new videos, you'll be able to see, what's going on. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll check you guys out in the next one, and peace. Bye-bye.